whenever there's narcissism, because all those beautiful creatures, they come to New York to be successful, to be great actresses. And of course, you know, there is narcissism. Everybody tells them they are beautiful. They are. They look at themselves constantly. They want attention. Now, this is an actress, so she played a role. She might not be like this exactly in reality. But I'm doing a portrait of a lot of the people that I've seen. So what you see here is really, you see a face that almost looks like a nun, right? You see almost a religious image in this painting.
It's very iconic. That's what you mean.
It's very iconic, and what I'm trying to illustrate here is I'm trying to draw a parallel between fashion and the adoration of fashion and religion.
Because I think when you have an iconic face, you're painting like Russian painters do, you know.
Yeah.
It's also an adoration, but it's for divinity or religious kind of thing. I think it's what I see in this painting. Because you can tell me about this part of the picture, because it's very interesting, I think.
So whenever you have narcissism, you will have voyeurism.
The opposite.
It's the opposite. Yeah. And it's a strange game. I mean, those creatures, they want attention, but they are annoyed when they get too much attention. So, you know, that's what I was interested in. But when I said I'm drawing a parallel between religion and fashion, what I mean is that there's a real cult of fashion now. The big brands are revered as idols, as icons. Chanel, Louis Vuitton, those are the new religion. This is what I'm illustrating in this picture. I'm making a religious picture out of a fashion picture. That's what I'm trying to show.
Because you don't use brands in this kind of picture.
There are no
this kind
brands,
of painting.
but
the other paintings you made, a lot of brands. For example, this one, we're going to talk about that.
Okay.
Martian provocateur. Later on, you tell me about this brandings. Yeah.
I think this one doesn't even need a brand. I mean,
no, why not?
Because it's such an iconic image, and it's so remindful of fashion posters that you would see in the street. It's also the building that you see, the reflection of the building is a typical building of Soho. The whole neighborhood looks like that. Art Deco buildings from the 19th century. Do you want me to talk about a different picture? This is something a little different. Not so much, because in this picture where you had a voyeurist, you had a voyeur. In this one you have a homeless, and you have another voyeur. This is almost like a David Lynch movie, right? Or a theater play. You have the fantasy world. This is a lingerie brand. I transformed the name a little bit. The original one is Agent Provocateur, and I transformed it to Argent Provocateur, which is even worse, right?
Because the relation to money.
Yes. So here you have the fantasy world. You have this everywhere in New York. It's a very sexual city, as you know, and you know why do you have the title Sex in the City? There's a reason for that.
It's all about fashion also. These women go to the massage salon to dress.
It's all about obsession with looks, and of course status. This is a very expensive lingerie store. It's not cheap at all. And in contrast, at night, what you have is you have the beautiful storefronts of Soho, the luxury, the sex, the money, and at night you have the real world. You have the homeless people outside on the streets. This is recession. That's the real world. So
9/11 economical crisis and things like that is going on in America.
This is what you see in Manhattan at nighttime.
Yeah.
You know, after all the tourists are gone, that's what you have. So it's an interesting parallel. And I call this painting bad timing. You know, because you know, it's just God knows this guy probably saw this, and you know, he's probably regretting that he can't have that. And also I always play with reflections in these pictures.
Many of your works.
The reflections for me are a metaphor for the change in our values.
But I think you can also have this relationship to prostitutes.
Yes.
You want to see it like that way, maybe.
Yeah, we are, I mean, the society in ways prostituting itself.
Because the line is very thin between these brands, and prostitution.
On purpose, because sex sells, always.
That's why they also get it low.
It's very provocative, and it's amazing that, you know, normal people walk by without noticing. It would be in another country, everybody would scream and take this out, take this away. But in New York, sex, fashion, for Halloween, you have transsexuals that walk around on the streets in underwear.
The fascination, where comes the fascination from this kind of paintings, from this kind of life, from this kind of
it's like
living on the edge?
It's like I'm one of the last artists.
These people living on the edge.
I'm one of the last artists living in Soho because they all had to move because it's getting really expensive. So
it's a kind of achievement.
Where did they went to?
They went far away. They keep going far where it's cheaper. Right now they're in Dumbo, they're in Williamsburg, Red Hook, but they're even going further. Bushwick, they keep going further. I just moved there 4 years ago. I didn't really know what the situation was. But even in 4 years, I've seen it change. The fascination is that I think this world of fashion is beautiful. It's amazing. It's like.
But you're gonna think in the time it's gonna be disappeared in another world, or you think it's gonna be always like this? In this particular neighborhood, I think it's gonna change to something different, a little different.
You know, 20 years ago, there were people taking heroin. There are people shooting at each other on the street where I live. God knows. We don't know.
You don't know.
New York changes so fast.
Every city now.
Yeah. But it changes like the fashion changes.
Yes.
You know, it's all intertwined. Those storefronts change. That's interesting too. This is just a moment in time, and it's very ephemeral.
Actually, you make this kind of achievement in this neighborhood in, let me say, 2006, 2011, 2012. Is that right or not?
I did.
They want to go keep further, if it's possible for you to live there, to make an achievement for about 40 years. Come on.
Yeah, I will try to go as far as I can in this direction and illustrate this concept.
Is your actual plan to do it, or you can say, no, I'm not finished this works? Different kind of work at all?
I'm going to work for this for a number of years.
A number of years, only this kind of paintings?
Yes,
yeah.
yes. The theme of fashion and how our society is transformed and how it also transforms fashion.
But how is your relation to brands? Because you paint a lot of brands, you're involved with this kind of...
Okay, basically, try to explain to you. So, basically, there used to be other stores, and now there's only retail stores. Imagine a whole section of Broadway with only fashion stores on many blocks. So basically, you can't live there or walk there without noticing the brands.
Yeah,
They are being imposed and they are being printed on your face. And even when you look at a door and there's a painting over there, you still see the reflection on the other side of the street with a brand name. Now we create that, and there's nothing wrong with the brands.
No.
It just reflects a demand in the population, a change in the values,
Yep.
a need for certain brands constantly. The thing is, if everybody wants the same brands or the same products, then we're going towards a uniform society.
Uniform society, so it's a differentiation between these brands. But you can also categorize people, no?
Of course, of course.
So somebody goes in an Armani dress, you can put them like a director of a bag.
Yeah, I mean, there's haute couture and there's other...
A uniformism in this kind of way of brands, I think. Yeah.
So we have a 2 hours interview.
So it's categorized.
2 hours. It started at 7.
There's, of course, I try to...
When you see someone with a hoodie,
they go from painting to painting, and then he's an art philosopher.
main director or something. Maybe you can categorize them by brands. So that's also kind of good for it. Uniformism.
Yeah, there's different kinds
They started
of
there.
uniformism.
Yeah.
Still, there's a mass demand for certain products. Everybody wants certain products. When a store have a special sale, and just recently there was an incident at Hollister. People just broke the windows. They broke the window. That's across from where I live. Just to get there first.
It was neat because it was
This is so it's so far away from my own convictions. You know, I would never do something. Even if I want something really bad, it's just
they never break it.
It's insane. It's insane. It's disproportional for what it is. And this is what I'm trying to show here. Is that we have become obsessed. We feel a sense of entitlement. Everybody feels like they deserve certain things, certain products, certain handbags. Why? Because maybe they see a lot of reality TV shows.
Because you have a great recession in America, not only in America, only in Europe, and it's still going on with these brands. And still people.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? When people give up everything else and they don't believe in anything else, they will still buy a handbag or a shirt from a certain brand. That they will still spend money for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
That's why it's very funny, but also very tragic. I read in the newspaper from this Hollister accident happening. That people go so far for that kind of brand.
But I've seen it for other stores. It happens a lot. This kind of thing happens a lot. When you're in Manhattan, you see lines. You see people waiting to be the first ones to get this product. They wait at night sometimes. It's crazy.
I want to play David Bowie.
Oh, cool.
You know, of course, I had to choose. I had to choose fashion for you, of course.
Fashion.
You know the song.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
Come over here. I wanted to do it for you.